Welcome back to the Nutrasave podcast. It has been quite a long time. We are happy to have you back. A little different now. For those of you who don't know or haven't stay, or for those of you who don't know, aren't necessarily too close to us, Joey is currently off at boot camp at Paris Island, getting ready to join the Marines. So he will be not a part of the podcast for the next couple months. Over the next couple months, I will have people coming on and joining us, such as our guest today, Matt Davis. I do have another guest lined up for August. I'm not going to name drop him yet. It's going to be an awesome episode. The episode today is going to be awesome. We're hoping to get back to that once a week mark. I currently have a full-time job for my internship, so that's taking up a lot of my time. So we will try and get back to that once a week on Wednesdays. Of course, this is coming out tomorrow. I guess we're recording this Tuesday night. It's coming out tomorrow at noon. So yes, joining us today, my freshman year roommate, one of my closest friends, Matt Davis. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I am fantastic. I thankfully did not have to go to work today. Was able to enjoy my day off. But uh, going back, we were freshman year roommates. I would say one of the things that kind of really bonded us was going to the gym. One of the first things we
For
did,
sure.
because we were both students at the University of South Carolina. We moved in, 3-4 days before classes started.
Yeah.
Well, that going to that gym the first couple times, it was the first time I'd gone not a part of like an athletic workout for like sports or something, and so it was weird. But again, I've come a long way. You, I think, have come an even further way, and we're going to talk about that today. Um, but just to give the people at home deeper look inside, what kind of sports have you played growing up? What kind of other athletic adventures have you done leading to this point right now?
For me, it was mainly track and basketball. It has always been that way since I was little. I didn't really get into like baseball or like hockey because we didn't really have like a hockey team down here. And I wasn't really too good at like swinging a bat. So track and basketball was really my strong suit. I started track um early high school years. My sophomore year was my first time. I ran mid distance in track, the 200 and 400s mainly. I would do the 4 by 400, um, the 4 by 200, like stuff like that. It was pretty fun. Um, like you were saying, your workouts and stuff were mainly based on like your sports, and you didn't really like go in the gym just to like weight lift. That's how it was for me as well. Outside of like track and basketball, I didn't really like hit the gym at all up until college year. Whenever I like really wanted to go into the gym, I actually came to you first and asked you, you know, have you like lifted before? Because I didn't, like I said, I wasn't in the gym a whole bunch. So I really wanted to like get into it, and the only person I knew that was in the gym that was, close was you that had some experience and could help me out.
So, I mean that I think kind of sums it up perfectly on how we started. For those of you who don't follow him, go over check him out on Instagram, get him to a 1K. Matty D lifts. Um, but if you go on there and you look at some of those pictures, he has looked like that pretty much as long as I've known him. It is insane.
Yeah,
This kid
yeah.
could walk into a gym, just get a whiff of the air, and walk out with a pump. I mean,
Oh
it is
yeah.
incredible. Um, go check out. My personal favorite are some of his back picks. The detail you get on a lot of those, because everyone's got big lats, everyone's got some decent traps, but the smaller muscles, right, like in between your traps and your shoulders, those really pop
Yeah.
out. It is crazy. So go check him out, give him a follow. But kind of going back to that, you have had an insane physique. for
Hmm.
as long as I've known you, no doubt that it went back into kind of your high school and possibly even middle school. Or you were probably jacked in middle school, but
Yeah.
how how did you kind of get that? Especially you you talked about getting into track kind of in your early high school years. Did you lift a lot for basketball and other, I guess, track too? I don't know how much lifting you do for track.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, not a whole lot of like in gym time with track and basketball. I didn't like probably touch like weights until probably my senior year of high school. As far as like how, my muscles look, I want to say it's mainly genetic, but track really helped like, get me cut and lose some of that fat so that way they look more, developed and stuff like that.
So obviously you just talked about cutting down on the fat and kind of how your muscle. I alluded to your back being my favorite aspect of your physique, but um,
Oh yeah.
a lot of people are like, yeah, like I think I'm pretty well rounded, and they'll look like a Dorito. They'll be in great upper body, but their lower body might be
Yeah.
lacking. So, what would you say
Hmm.
the weakest part of your physique is?
For me, it would be my legs, my calves. I have the hardest time growing them. I've tried like different techniques, tried like different exercises, different like reps and like weights, and nothing really like seems to help them grow. But of course, I still hit them every other day. You're supposed to work the muscle that you're trying to, get catch up to the rest of your body um, as often as you can so that way they see the most growth. But that's probably the muscle group that I struggle to grow the most. And I would definitely say it's the smallest of my muscles.
So, take this with a bit of sarcasm, but have you tried becoming a father? Because every dad I
Oh.
know has got some jacked calves.
No, I mean, I think it's a little bit too early. Might be a little bit too early for that.
That, that
Um,
that's why I dropped the
yeah,
take
I
it with some sarcasm.
100% agree with you on that point. One of our friends, Noah, he has some insanely huge calves, and I think it's, from golfing and walking all the courses and stuff. So that's one thing that I'm trying to get into now is golf, so I can get, big calves like Noah, because his
Hey, I
are
mean,
huge.
Tiger's on the way out. We might have you come in and be the next one.
Oh
We can
yeah.
only
I
hope.
mean, he has his son though.
Yeah, that's. I guess that would be the next literal tiger. But I don't know. I would say you probably we get you out there a little bit more. We can get you up to speed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been practicing my swing on like the Nintendo Switch, dude. I think I'm like almost there. I'm like almost there. I just need a couple more hours on that game and I think I'll be ready to go hit the driving range one more time.
Oh, that will be quite the experience. So earlier you alluded to kind of some of your um, physique being genetic. Would you fully attribute your physique to genetics? How much of that do you put into the hard work? I know going to the gym is not an easy thing. I will never tell someone, "Hey, going to the gym, it's going to be a breeze." It never is.
Yeah.
Um, but how much of it do you think is genetics? How much of it is hard work? And kind of where is the sweet spot for you?
Gotcha. So I would say it's a good 50-50%. When I was a lot younger, you can probably go on like my main Instagram page and go to my tags and just scroll down. But I was small, dude. I was tiny, and that's what like got me into the gym and wanting to become bigger is because I was small. The genetics part of it, I 100% got from my dad because even now I get around like family members and stuff, and they're like, dude, you're jacked. Like, you look just like your dad back in the day. And it's kind of hard to believe because my dad's on like the bigger side, you know, he's pushing like 220 right now, and he's my height. I'm 5'4". But I say it's 50-50. So the genetics, it has me at kind of like a base for whenever I like started. So I already had like the good abs and like good chest muscles and like legs. And then whenever I started working out, I just kind of, worked hard on every muscle group. I didn't neglect anything. I'm always pushing myself in the gym day in and day out. I go about 4 times a week now. It's all about putting in work. Even though you got good genetics, I would still highly recommend working those muscles because eventually, like me, my legs probably, my like quad muscle specifically, can probably outshine the rest of my body. And my chest is like pretty big too. I like how I I don't have like a lot of like outer fat that's like covering my muscles. So whenever I'm like in those workouts, I get like a really good pump, and you can see like the striations in my muscles and stuff. But definitely it's 50-50. I would say I had the genetics, and then on top of that, like the work that I put in helped me get to where I am now.
So we've talked about it being um, not an easy thing to do, especially getting to the stage where you are, the physique that you have. One of the biggest oppositions for people is, hey, I don't have time. You were like, hey, I only go 4 times a week. Um, I think one of the biggest questions I think we're going to have today is when do you think, like, when do you go to the gym the most, and how do you kind of fit that into your schedule? Like, are you like a big morning guy? Or are you a big night guy? Because I know last year you guys had the gym in your dorm, and we do a lot of photo
Hmm.
shoots kind of later at night. Everyone was kind of open then. But are you
Yeah.
more of like a, hey, I'm gonna go get up early, and go to the gym before everyone gets there? Am I gonna go try and squeeze a lift in between classes, or are you gonna be like, hey, there's no one in the gym at 11:30 at night. I'm gonna go get a quick pump in.
Yeah, so for me, it all depends. I switch up on my times based on my schedule. So right now during the summer, the afternoon absolutely works for me because number one, I stay up late pretty often. And so whenever I'm like trying to get to the gym like early in the morning, I'm not getting enough sleep. However, during the school year, when, classes are in session, I tend to go early in the morning just because all my classes are in the afternoon. And so it really just depends on your schedule. Now, I do prefer going in the afternoon because I feel like my body is more awake. Whenever I'm like early in the morning, you're just waking up, you're kind of tired, you're kind of like slouchy, you want to go back to sleep. Um, if you're a morning person, go for it. It just, if it works with your schedule, it works. As far as finding time to go to the gym, if you really want to see progress and you really want to get into it, you will make time, if that makes sense. So you prioritize the gym if you want to see those results. And so you will make time to go to the gym. And as far as like what is better, I find them equally, like performance wise. I don't see a difference in like progress, whether I'm working out early in the morning or like in the afternoon. It just depends.
I will say I think I'm in a very similar kind of situation as you. When I'm back at school, I usually like to go early in the mornings, kind of right at the 6 a.m. mark, just because hey, I've got classes at 8:30, allows me to get a quick lift in, and then I've got the rest of my day free. Especially because we don't know what we're going to be doing at night. Plans come up last second. But now that I'm
Yeah,
at home, I work from 8 to 4:30 every day, and so that's almost unreasonable as I have a decent drive to get to my office. But
yeah,
so I'm lifting later in the evening, kind of in that 9 to 11 window. I try and play golf after I work. Um, trying to get back into that a little bit more. But when I'm here, it's a whole different rhythm, and kind of as I shift back to being in Colombia here in a couple of weeks, it'll be definitely a big change of schedule. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I can't wait to get back into Strom.
Oh yeah, dude. We have to like find time. I don't know like whenever you're free, but we'll figure out like time to go to the gym.
So I'm currently lifting in a Planet Fitness right now. I will say for what it is, the cost, I think it's one of the best places to go for someone who's just starting out. Um,
Mhm.
I haven't really had any problems there. I will say there are quite the characters. I know it's a judgment-free zone, but what is your
Yeah.
favorite like Planet Fitness story? Something that you've seen happen in person?
In person, nothing crazy, surprisingly. I'll be like scrolling on Instagram or even like Twitter, and I'll just see some of like the wildest things. If I would have to think of, oh, okay. So yeah, the one of the craziest stories from my experience being in Planet Fitness, me and a buddy of mine who like lives kind of close to where I am, we've been like going to the gym as often as we can because he works and his schedule doesn't always line up with mine. But one day it was about like 2 weeks ago, dude. We were lifting, we were hitting like upper body, chest, tries, all that, and there's this one girl on the treadmill, and we couldn't figure out where the sound was coming from, and it was so hard to not laugh, but it was almost like she was like moaning, but it was really loud, and you can hear it from like everywhere in the gym, and everybody was like staring at her, and she was kind of like doing her own thing, but that's probably like the craziest thing that has happened at my Planet Fitness. Just like hearing her like those noises like just filled the gym. It was pretty funny. Not even gonna lie.
I'm surprised that didn't set off the lunk alarm.
Yeah, yeah. A guy today, actually, whenever I went to the gym earlier, he was doing push-ups with dumbbells, and he had another guy stack like 345 plates on his back, and he was like screaming, and then after like the third push-up, kind of just like pushed it over, and it made this like really, really loud sound, and the clock alarm didn't go off. So I don't
I,
know what's up with that.
I would say I don't really have any like stories where it's like, oh, like this was like weird. But this one time I was in Planet Fitness here in Norfolk, and this guy, I mean, it was like middle of the day on a Saturday, and this guy was on a bench, and there's only like you've been to the one I'm talking about over
Yeah,
in East Beach, but this
yeah.
guy was middle of a Saturday. The gym's packed. I mean, there's a ton of people there. This dude, no joke, sat on his phone, and I mean, he had dumbbells by his feet. Sat and scrolled for 15 minutes without picking anything up, as there's a
Dude,
line of people waiting to try and get a bench. Didn't touch the weight
I
for
always
15
hate when that
minutes.
happens.
And don't get me wrong, I will go and I will scroll through Instagram in between sets, but I mean, it's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes
Yeah,
tops. 15 minutes is crazy.
yeah, I find that really ridiculous because number one, whenever you go to the gym, you're there to like put in work. And so when you're keeping somebody else from doing that, I find it very disrespectful to be honest. Because you're just wasting other people's time. Like if you're holding, there aren't that, and that Planet Fitness I've been to, it's not like as huge as the one we have here. It's a lot smaller, but I just find it like very irritating whenever that happens.
Yeah. So we were talking about our favorite, like your favorite, like part of your physique, genetics and whatnot. And kind of tying into that, all the hard work. What is your favorite part of your body to work out?
My favorite part of my body, and Briggs, you can probably agree with this too. It's definitely chest. There's nothing like a good chest pump because it makes you look absolutely huge. And it just feels so good. You're like walking around like your arms like out, like you have like big lats. Lats too. I like working out lats. But the chest, it just looks so good. It's so good. That's probably my favorite. Probably exercise what benching, whether it be dumbbell bench or like with the barbell. That has to be my top favorite exercise.
My favorite recently has been incline bench, especially because they don't have like a real bench at Planet Fitness. I've been using and abusing that Smith machine,
Oh yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if you can remember precisely how many times, but roughly how many times did we go into the gym at Park Place last year? And we were like, "Oh yeah, we're hitting legs today," and we walk by that bench and we're like, "Hey, that bench is open." Like,
Almost every single time, I'm not even gonna lie. We would warm up with chest on leg day and on pull day. Cause you just got to like a good looking bench, it's just calling your name. It's like Briggs, Matt, like come on, you have to hit bench.
I will say, I think our most memorable bench was you were sitting there doing, I think it was like 195, 205 for like 8
Yeah,
reps. And I was like, have you tried 2 plates yet? And you're like, no, I definitely can't hit that. I loaded 2 plates up on there for this dude, and he repped, like, you did like, what, 4? No problem.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I
I was,
surprised myself that day. I honestly didn't think I would be able to do it because I never tried. But
I think the key
you
there
don't
for
know
everyone
until
at
you do
home
it.
is you only live once. Try it while you can.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you have a good spotter like Briggs, nothing in the gym should scare you, you know?
I mean, the second you start putting 3 plates and 4 plates up there, that's getting out of my range. We're gonna need to pull in some other people there. Um,
Yeah, might need a crane to get that off, yeah.
so we talked
Uh,
about how chess is everyone's. I'd say it's pretty much a consensus among 95% of gym bros that chest is kind of the top like favorite workout. Back is probably the other five. Everyone's least
yeah.
favorite would be leg day. Would you fall into that category?
So, beginning my fitness journey, I used to love doing legs because, like I was saying earlier, I think my quads kind of outshine the rest of my body. Not so much now because I'm more focused on my triceps, my biceps, my chest, my traps. So all that's like growing and coming together pretty nicely. But at the beginning, the reason why I liked legs is because they're strong muscle. And so you can lift a lot, and whenever you can lift heavy, it just makes you feel good. I love like putting a bunch of plates, even though I don't really do leg press anymore. But you can stack like 10 plates on leg press and it'd be so easy. Just the feeling of being able to lift that much weight, that's why I love leg day. But now, it's definitely not my favorite anymore. I definitely dread whenever leg day comes and I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, oh, man, now I gotta walk in there and hit legs. And usually by the time I'm done, like squatting at the squat rack, I'm like tired for the rest of the time I'm in the gym. It's definitely not my favorite anymore, but it used to be, yeah.
So I guess this is a perfect time to drop this in now. Um, Nutrasave pre-workout, boom, available now. It's only 175 milligrams of caffeine, so it'll get you through your workout. Not going to give you the shits. I can attest to that. It's not going to give you the like itchy skin, uh, and so but it gives you the energy, especially to get through those leg days. I hit legs today, so uh, didn't use the pre workout. I don't have it on me right now. I ran out, but I think you've had it before. Um, we've had a couple other athletes who are going to be joining the team try it. They've all loved it. I think my favorite part is you look at like a lot of the pre workouts, especially it's a powder. Comes in a nice little tub that we designed. Spent what 3 hours designing it, trying to come up with something decent.
Yeah, it's really good though. It's really good.
But like it's one of the few pre workouts where it's not chalky. The
Yeah.
problem I've had with other ones, I'm not going to name names. I don't want to get sued. It'll be chalky or it'll be gritty when I go and drink it. not a pleasurable experience. Almost is like I'm drinking creatine. So that's out now. I think the flavor that's on the website. So if you want to go get that now, it's fruit punch. But we will be adding, I think, 5 more flavors come in the next month. So be on the lookout for that. Those are going to be awesome. I am excited for those. But yes, had to drop in our own little ad there. But
Oh yeah.
so moving on, you just talked about dreading like leg day. Kind of, you're like, oh man, I don't really want to do this. How do you kind of mentally prepare yourself and mentally kind of get dialed in and zoned in to the point where it's like, hey, I don't want to do this. I have to do this.
Yeah, so whenever you're consistent with going to the gym, it makes it, in my opinion, like 10 times easier because it's already a part of your schedule. And so when you consistently go anyways, even on the days that you don't feel like it, it's always important to still show up and still put in like in the work. It just it just kind of locks in and have you have a solid mentality for whenever you don't want to go in the gym, but you know you have to. Um, for me, on those days that I like absolutely don't feel like going, I hype myself up before the gym. I like turn on some Katy Perry fireworks, dance in the car, sing my heart out, take some pre. The pre, honestly, it gives me that energy that I don't usually have to go in the gym. And so that's usually how I get ready to go in the gym every day. Yeah.
I will say, I think and I mean, sure, Goggins out there has said this, and some of these other bigger fitness influencers, but it's the days where you feel like you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to wake up, you don't want to kind of go and get at it. Those are the days that count the most because those are what's going to
Oh
separate
yeah.
you from the people you're competing against. Whether that's looking
A
like you want
hundred
to have a better
percent, yeah.
physique, whether you're out there playing football and you're trying to get the leg up on the next guy you're playing against, or if you're out there playing golf and you need to be in better shape, be able to perform better, calm down 15 to 18 to try and get the win. So I personally think it's those days that count the most because when it's the hardest, it's going to have the highest payoff.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's like, I think I've ended up having some of the best workouts on those days that I don't feel like going. And I don't know why that is, but I just do. It's something different about going in on those days because in a way, it kind of builds like like it kind of builds on other things in your life as well. If you're able to go in and still put in the work, you can do it among like other things that you have going on in your life too, whether it be like work or school, like, hey, I don't want to do this assignment, but you still have to get it done. It kind of gives you that mentality to, you know, I have to do it, so you go ahead and do it anyways.
I will say that was one of the biggest things, and especially the hardest part about starting something new. If you're out there, you're trying to start getting in the gym, the hardest thing to do is take the first step. But once you keep going and you start getting in that rhythm and start going, the snowball compiles and becomes an avalanche, and you're set. I think you can attest to it when we started freshman year. But once we started going and going and
Yeah,
going, we started to see a lot more progress. I mean, my bench went from what
yeah.
benching 10-pound plates to now 205, 195 up there. You're up there
Oh
past
yeah.
225. So,
Yeah, I'm at 235 right now.
hey, that's what we like to
It's
hear.
it's
So,
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
um, and so, I mean, I think what is it like 0.8% of lifters get the 2 plates.
Hmm.
It's some insane
Yeah.
number like that. Um, but we talk about the things that are hard, and I think another big thing is how people eat and approach the
Hmm.
nutrition side. Because if you're gonna eat shit, then you're gonna look and feel like shit. Um,
A hundred
and
percent.
so,
Yeah.
how big has nutrition and dieting played into the physique you have now?
So dieting and going to the gym, they're hand in hand, as well as sleep. If you're not putting good stuff in your body, you're not gonna get good stuff out of your body as far as performance. Like if you go to the gym and work hard and you're not fueling your body, you're not eating enough protein to replenish the muscle that you just broke down, you're just continuing to break down that muscle, and then you're you're probably gonna get smaller. Eventually you'll get smaller and you're gonna lose progress. Um, it it like I said, it's just as important as going to the gym. Now as far as like what you eat, you don't have to do any sort of like crazy diet where you're only eating like vegetables all day long, or you're eating just rice and chicken. It all depends on how many calories you eat per day and protein intake. So you have to fuel your body with the amount of protein that your body weighs. So it's said to be you need at least a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And I go by that as well because it's just easier to factor in. What I do personally, if you have a goal of like you're trying to get to, I'm 155 right now. I'm still trying to get to 170. I'm eating 170 grams of protein a day. So that way, whenever I get there, I'm not really changing how I eat because I've always been eating that way. Um, but yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people, I mean, I don't want to say they don't want to give it up, but there is some convenience in um, going to fast food. I know we make our late night cookout runs all the time. I don't want to say all the time,
Oh, yeah.
but it's not
Cookout
a
is
rare
so good.
occurrence. But how do you factor in something like that where, hey, someone might be working a 9 to 5 and they've got 3 kids at home? How do they factor in the convenience of something like a Chick-fil-A or a cookout or some of these other fast food places to kind of fit that into their diet and not have an absolute calorie bomb?
Gotcha. So yeah, every once in a while, it's not to say like you have to cut out like all the fast food and all that stuff. You just have to watch how many calories you eat. Because if you're in a calorie deficit, you're gonna lose that fat if you work out. If you're in a calorie surplus, you're gonna gain fat, and that's good for bulking. You don't have to cut out fast food. I would recommend just not eating it as often. So maybe like 2 times a week you go and get fast food. I meal prep every week. So on Sunday I'll spend about like 4 hours cooking my lunch and dinner for the week. And that helps a lot as far as like trying to figure out like the best time to, eat. And you don't have to cook every single day. You can just grab it out of the fridge, heat it up, eat, and then put it in the sink or dishwasher, throw it away.
So what would have been, because I know there are some people who meal prep, some people are like, not really on it. What would have been some of your uh, creations lately? Kind of, let's see if it can entice the people a little bit.
So I, whenever I meal prep, I kind of go based off of like what my mom is cooking. So like this week it was spaghetti, mashed potatoes, and broccoli. So she'll make that, and I'll just make more of it, and just kind of like put it in the fridge. It depends. I like going on Instagram or like TikTok, and that's where I find most of my meals that I cook. It's really easy to find simple meals that are budget friendly. They have meals for like, let's say you only want to spend $100 a week on groceries because that's your budget. They have recipes for under $100 that you can make and you can cook. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, I mainly get like my recipes and stuff from like TikTok. Let's see another. I had steak, rice, and green beans for lunch as well this week. That's what I've been eating throughout the week. Um, yeah, it depends on like what my mom cooks and what I can find online. You just have to search for it. That's all I'm saying.
So I know there's a bunch of crazy diets out there. There are people who go and do the carnivore diet. There's people who do try and do like I guess it might be the same thing, but I guess not because keto you can still eat vegetables and whatnot. Have you tried
hmm
any of these crazy ones, and what has been your personal experience with them?
So I like the carnivore diet. Carnivore diet. That's the only one that I've tried. I haven't tried like Mediterranean, keto, eating like vegetarian. I haven't tried any of those. But I like it better because it to me it tastes good. Um, and with the carnivore diet, you're getting a lot of calories as well as, protein from eating, steak, meat, chicken, burgers, stuff like that. You get a lot of the benefits and you don't really see any negatives with going that route. I don't know too much about the other diets and all that stuff, but that's the one that have worked for me. And I'm pretty sure, Briggs, didn't you go on like a carnivore diet like not too
Yeah,
long ago?
I did it. I did it for a couple weeks at the end of our last semester, just because I had so much meat, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, I gotta do it." Um, I liked it. I felt good. I know a lot of people before have been like, "Yeah, I felt good. I'm doing it." Another thing that I want to try, and I've heard that is worked real well, is that 3 day fast where you just drink water
hmm
for 3 days. Um, I've heard good things about it. That's so hard though, especially for someone who I play
Yeah,
golf. I try and play golf every day. So that's walking a mile and a half, 2 miles. I'm lifting, and then I'm sitting in an office. And so it's like I
yeah,
don't know.
that takes a toll on your body.
Yeah, and especially if you're walking that much. Yeah, I mean, I'm burning around 2,000 calories a day just from the physical activity
Yeah.
aspect of it. And so not having um, that food to kind of supplement me, I don't want to have it damage
hmm
my progress in the gym. So it's something I need to kind of time right for like, hey, we're gonna get hit by a
Yeah.
hurricane here,
hmm
uh, and whatnot. Although I will say, we had that one that came in. What was it? 2 years ago, a year ago, and
That was
they
really bad, man.
well, I can't remember what it was, but it was just really hard rain. It was the time they moved the South Carolina State football game to a Thursday. But
Yeah,
they can't
yeah.
close the gym
That's
because it's I guess it's considered like an essential for health and well being. So being able to go to the gym during that was awesome. But
I still went to the gym. Yeah, because nobody was there. It
oh
was
yeah, it
like
was awesome.
empty, dude.
But there's just a bunch of cool things, especially if you're out there. There's a diet for everyone.
hmm
They've got budget friendly, as you talked about. All meat. And I mean, I think one of the best things I think I've been able to find was the Costco membership, just because you're able to kind of get a bunch of stuff and buy. I buy my groceries for the month.
Oh yeah,
Um, so
yeah. That comes in clutch. Having like a membership like that, yeah.
so we'll
hmm
move on from the food just so I don't get hungry again. But we we talk about sometimes when like things get hard, and especially when you're in the gym, you kind of need someone to look up to. Um, so
hmm
who has been your role model? It doesn't necessarily need to be someone who's gym focused, but who is your role
hmm
model for like, hey, I look up to this person and I kind of use what they do as kind of how I want to guide myself, how I want to act, and how I want to kind of push through times when times necessarily aren't easy or when I don't feel like doing something.
Gotcha. So yeah, I've been following this guy. His name is Dylan O'Brien. I think he might have taken down his Instagram because I was looking for it recently and I couldn't find anything. But he does have a YouTube. I've been following him since the beginning of my gym career, and the reason why I like him is because he has an achievable physique. He's 100% natty. He doesn't take any steroids or anything like that, but he gives really good tips and really good advice for whenever you're like stuck in the gym and you can't really like you're at a plateau and you can't really get up to where you want to be. He gives really good like exercises in my opinion. He's always like, trying something new, which in my opinion, if you're in the gym, you should try to stay as consistent as possible. But if you do find that you're hitting like a plateau, it's totally okay to go and try like a new exercise to see if you can like break that. And he gives like meals as well. He will post meals and stuff that he cooks that, will help you meet your calorie goal and your like protein goals as well. But yeah, I've been following him since the beginning of my fitness journey, and it's been working out great. I've been using some of the tips and stuff that he's given me, and it's been working out a-okay. Yeah.
That was a great answer. I think we talked earlier about how sometimes you just gotta do what you don't want to do, and it'll lead to the best results. And I mean, obviously, it's worked for you. Your body's looking great. But how do you go and how do you kind of stay humble and realize, hey, there's always more I can do. Like, I don't think I
Yeah.
think you can agree with this. I don't think anyone can have like a
hmm
100% perfect physique. Like, there's always something someone can improve on. So, how do you kind of stay down to earth and put in the hard work despite knowing, hey, yeah, I am jacked, I am ripped, and how do you kind of go about that?
So for me, it's actually two things. So, whenever I'm on my fitness like Instagram page and I'm like scrolling, seeing everybody else who's like a lot bigger than I am, that kind of humbles me to know, I'm not the biggest guy, going to work out. So they're kind of my motivation to keep on going, but also standing in the mirror as well. When you could see everything that you have like going on, like I was saying, my calves are like kind of small and I have the hardest time like growing them. Even though I look at those things, they help push me to stay in the gym and stay consistent because I want to, eventually get there. My goal is 170 pounds. Like I'm just trying to get there right now. I'm at 155, so I will never like quit even when I reach that goal. There's always more that you can do. And I think social media plays a big part in that. Just seeing like there's always somebody that's going to be bigger than you, and that helps motivate me to like push to stay in the gym.
So now we both started kind of at square one. I think I mentioned that earlier. But what has been like your biggest piece of advice for someone who's just starting and kind of just getting out there to kind of get and be like, hey, like this is achievable. This is something I could realistically do. Because a lot of the times I think what's a big turnoff for people is they're like, hey, like this is going to take like a year, 2 years. I don't know if I really want to stay committed for that long. But what's a piece of advice you have for them that's like, hey, I mean, 2 years has flown by for us,
Oh yeah,
and so
it
like
definitely
how
has.
would you be able to? I don't want to say convince them, but how would you kind of give them the thought that it's not as bad or it's not something that's negative?
Yeah, I got you. So number one, you're not gonna see results overnight. Just because you go to the gym like once, you're not gonna, of course, see like spectacular results. A week of training is not gonna get you to like bodybuilder competition level. It takes time for your muscles to build. Another thing is don't go out and buy a whole bunch of supplements, especially when you're starting out early, because you might not know exactly what they do and how exactly they benefit you. I know in my early days, I used to go watch YouTube videos constantly, like all the time, and I would just be scrolling looking at like supplements, and supplements are pretty expensive. They range in like the like $50 area. But just don't go out and buy all these supplements until you kind of get up there and you have more experience. Another thing is finding somebody to go to the gym with. I have a blast whenever I have a gym partner because you're not just focused on lifting the weight. They also kind of give you motivation to help push you if you're like stuck. They help you, get out that last like couple of reps that you may not could get out by yourself. And it's just nice having somebody there like with you throughout your journey to help move you forward. Yeah.
This is a good answer there. And so you talk about it taking time. I think that's one of the biggest, at least in my opinion, it's one of the biggest misconceptions is like, hey, I could do 50 push-ups today and have a massive chest tomorrow. Um,
Yeah.
so what would you say would be like another misconception when it comes to not only bodybuilding, but being in the gym in general?
I would say common misconception. Um, I would say that the gym is really a place for anybody who's trying to look good. It's just all about putting in the work. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would just say like the gym is for anybody. Don't let like all the influencers and everything like scare you. And there's a bunch of articles and a bunch of videos that could, steer you away from going to the gym. I know I see videos of people, they'll be doing like bicep curls and their biceps will like completely rip from the bone. Don't let that scare you from doing bicep curls. It's just how you go about it. Little small stuff like that. You just kind of have to ignore and kind of jump in the pool.
I'll say back to your comment on supplements a couple of minutes ago. I think there's one. I mean, you don't need it, but I think the supplement that's best. Like you don't necessarily need protein powder. You can get it just from normal food. Um, you don't really
Hmm.
need like all the greens and all that. That again, get that from normal food. I think creatine is probably if you're going to go out and get a supplement, especially when you're starting. I think creatine is one of the best ones to be able to get.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you there. There's just so much research back behind creatine. And as far as like the benefits versus like the the pros versus the cons, there really aren't any cons. Anybody can take creatine, and even if you're not in the gym, you can take creatine and you'll be fine.
So I know you've had a couple of containers of it. But what are your thoughts on the Nutrasave creatine?
Oh, dude, it is unlike no other creatine that I've tried. I've tried other ones from so many different brands, but the way that the Nutrasave creatine mixes in the water, it's so creatine it doesn't really have a taste, but it has a taste. Like it has a distinctive like it usually is like very sandy, gritty. The Nutrasave one is powdery, and when you mix it, it's smooth. Like it doesn't like clump up or anything. It's just the smoothest like formulation of creatine I've ever had.
I will say you probably don't want to go on a plane with it. It's that powdery. But
Yeah, yeah, you might get stopped by TSA and pat down, and they bring out the dogs and come search you.
I will say I think I've talked to you about this. One of my favorite ways to take creatine is I'll mix it in my little cinnamon applesauce. Um, I think it's just because some people. I mean, I'll either do that or mix it in with like a body armor or something, kind of post
Hmm.
workout, just so that it has a little bit of flavor. But I think applesauce is the best way, at least in my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own, but
Yeah.
it makes it fun, and I don't have to uh, use like an extra cup or something. Like I don't have to go and do all that because it usually will leave a little bit of like I don't want to say unmixed residue at the bottom, but
Yeah,
I like putting it in applesauce. It blends in perfectly. It's all gone. That way I know I got all 5 grams. But yeah, if you
yeah.
would like to, I'm talking to the audience here, but if you would like to get some, we have some on our website. Feel more than free to go get some. They'll probably go on sale here towards the end of the summer, so be on the lookout for that. Um, but kind of back to what we were talking about, um, and kind of your physique being what it is, you obviously are starting to build your legacy, especially kind of getting more into the social media space. What is a legacy you hope to leave behind and that you want to be remembered as, so that when we're older and we're 45, 50, we can look back on and be like, hey, yeah, I touched these people's lives in a way that was beneficial and productive for not only ourselves, but for them and future generations down the line.
So what I want to leave behind is that anybody could get in the gym and build a physique that they want. It's mainly just all about putting in work. I'm not the tallest. I didn't get those genes. I'm not like 6'4" or like I'm not even Briggs's height. I'm 5'4", and so I'm on the shorter side. And I know like shorter guys tend to you can see they look like bigger than they are in pictures and stuff. But just that anybody could really get into the gym, and don't let it scare you. Don't let everything that you see online like scare you, all the videos and stuff. Anything is achievable as long as you put in the work. Like I said, it doesn't happen like night and day. It's gonna take time, regardless of like what supplements you take. It's just gonna take time. You just have to trust the process.
I like that answer. I certainly would like to be a part of the legacy you leave behind. I'm hoping to do something similar. I think the gym is a space for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are. Weight doesn't care. Weight moves the same for everyone. So all you gotta do is move it. Um, but yeah, so as we kind of wrap this up, I know you've seen a lot of, especially as you're kind of helping with some of these designs that we do for both supplements and apparel. What has been your favorite kind of T-shirt design or supplement design that we did over these past? I guess we're coming up on a year now that the business has been around. But what has
Yeah.
been your favorite?
So my favorite like item first off would definitely have to be the oversized tees. I just love the way they feel. They're so thick, and even though it's summertime, you can still like wear them because they're short sleeve. But I just love the way oversized tees fit, and the Nutrasave ones are amazing. I like the design on the back of it as well, where you have like the little like gym people like lifting weights across the
Yeah,
back.
that's
The one that I have, I literally wear it like 2, 3 times a week. I'll throw it in the wash and like re-wear it because it's my favorite article of clothing. Um, also like I love the hats a lot. Like I'm a big hat wearer. I'm wearing one right now. I can't wait to get the one that you sent me, and I'm like so excited for it, dude. I will literally probably wear it in my sleep, but I love trucker hats so much.
so yeah. In fact, we did just add another trucker hat. It's got the N, of course, best logo out there, but it's got the American flag on it as we kind of celebrate this summer, um, America's birth and all that. Um, and we do have some summer designs coming out. I know you've got a little something something coming in the mail for you here in the next couple of days that the
Oh
people will be
yeah.
able to see. Um, we're also releasing tank tops. I know I've heard from a lot of people like, hey, make some tank tops. Hey, get these out here. And so there will actually be exclusive designs that are only on tank tops. You've got one of them. So I'm sure that people will love to see that here coming soon.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, we'll need a review on them. I have not worn them. I'm not a big tank top guy. I wear t-shirts and
Yeah.
shorts pretty much year round. And I think you can attest to that.
Oh yeah. And flip-flops. It doesn't
I,
matter if it's
I
negative
don't think
20 degrees. This
I don't think
guy,
I
this guy will wear his flops.
I don't think I have them up here, but I've had the pair of flip flops I have now for a year, and you can see the wear print from where my like toes and the balls of my feet are already. They've definitely worn the
That's
roof. So
wild.
any flip flop manufacturers out there looking to test some durability, I can put some miles on that. But yeah,
Briggs,
so
gotcha. Yeah.
Matt, I really appreciate you coming on. I know we're both looking forward to going down, seeing Joey here in a couple
Oh
weeks as he
yeah.
graduates from boot camp. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers, guys. The Marines aren't easy. It's not supposed to be easy. He's going and he's decided to take up the call and serve our country. Not something that should be taken lightheartedly. Don't really want it to. I'm proud of him for going and kind of committing to do that. Um, yeah, I mean it's unbelievable. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers as he goes and finishes up here. I think he gets out September 12th. So
Hmm.
after that, we might do a special episode welcoming him back, and then kind of getting ready for the college football will have already started, but kind of getting him back into it, getting him caught up to date. A lot has happened since then. A lot has happened since our last podcast too. So we'll kind of slowly break that down. We'll be talking golf here in the coming weeks, football with the new video game that just came out. So stay tuned. We'll try and get to you guys once a week. But thank you for tuning in, Matt. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any last words?
Just stay in the gym. If like Briggs said, that first step is probably the biggest, the hardest thing that you have to do when getting into your journey. Whenever you take that first step, I swear, it's so easy. You just have to stay consistent and everything will fall into place.
Couldn't agree more. Well, hopefully we will see you guys next Wednesday. Stay safe, stay lifted, and we'll see y'all later.